I made it back. I'm back from the 5th dimension. I killed all the zombies. I killed them all. And now I'm coming for you, Turtle Man. You're not taking my job. Okay, man. I know you're in there. Just come on out, Turtle Man. You cannot steal my show. This is my show. It's the only thing I have left in life. They're what? They're right there. I'll get you later. Hi, don't mind. He's fine. It was a joke. It was a joke. He's good. Anyways, welcome back, everyone, to 2D Life with a little bit of anime review today. And, you're probably wondering, ooh, who's that damn sexy boy sitting right there? Well, the answer is, that's Deku. And I know he's pretty damn sexy. Yes, I finally got a poster like I said I would, and I'm really sorry about this. Yeah, this thing right here, the glare. I moved a bunch of lamps, I opened windows, I turned off lights, I could not get it to go away. But don't worry, because I found a perfect excuse. It's him charging up his Detroit Smash, coming in to blow my head off for all my awful reviews. So, whenever you just hear me rambling, you're like, oh my gosh, please make him stop, please make him stop. Just imagine Deku coming through that poster and just brains all over the camera. Okay. To be honest, the reason I'm wearing this suit is because I just felt so bad for showing you the other side of me. The other side that was craving blood and lust and just wanting to rip people apart just for the carnage. You know, I felt bad for showing you that. So I thought I would bring my sexy suaviness to the game. But let me tell you something. Being in the 5th dimension is crazy. Batshit crazy, you know? There are zombies everywhere. I was trying to get from point A to point B. It's a 1.5 mile, distance, and it took me 2.5 hours because the zombies were clogging up the highways. That's insane, and it's annoying the crap out of me. Anyway, so I finally got back, I dealt with them, so I put on the tux for you guys, and I'm here to do a review. And you guys are probably like, okay, Nate, you got out the poster, we're ready, here it is, a new frickin' My Hero Academia review. And I know you guys are sitting there thinking like, oh man, he got the poster out, he's been working on his name pronunciations. That's right, I literally spent my break at work for 30 minutes learning how to pronunciate the stupid names of all the characters because I know you don't want to listen to anyone that reviews anime if they can't say the name right. And I don't blame you, I wouldn't want to either. So, my list is somewhere, but I'm writing a list of like how to pronounce their names in ways that I can remember. And I did this for what I'm going to do today with the names I'm talking about. So it's really bad. But anyways, we're not going to be talking about My Hero Academia. But that's okay, because I'm going to get a drum roll for what we're going to be doing today.
Hell nah, you gay as shit.
I have feelings, guys, but whatever. It doesn't matter, I'm just going to go cry. Anyways, nothing like out of the ordinary. What we're going to be talking about is... It's too late for the drum roll, guys. Just, you know what? Tech person that doesn't exist, you're fired. We're talking about the 7 Deadly Sins, okay? I'm reviewing the newest anime. You happy now? Okay, I know the newest episode came out like 4 to 5 days ago, and I know it's super late, but I just started reviewing anime like a week and a half ago, and I promise, after I review this one, all the other episodes reviews will be like the day of or the day after. They're gonna be prompt and up and not late. But I really want to do this episode because I really liked it, so this is what we're doing for today, in my sexy suit. Fun fact, I had prom this Saturday, that's why I'm wearing this, and no, I'm not going with a guy, because no, I'm not gay, nothing wrong with gay people. I like girls, and a girl asked me, so ha! Alright, so let's just jump into this episode. We start right where we left, with just the crux of the show. You know, not just the episode, but what the whole show is kind of revolving around. And that is a sexy, undead, suave badass making out with a fairy, how should I put it, child. Oh, she's thousands of years old because she can live forever. No, she's a child and she probably shouldn't be giving out consent. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, yeah, we basically open up with them kissing, and then we jump to the credits. So we basically open up with them making out. And at this point, Jericho stands up and shouts like, Elaine, are you out of your mind? Why in the world would you like cut your lever just to get me out of the way? And Bond's like, shut up, it's fine. She knows I'm immortal, it doesn't matter. But then again, Jericho interjects like, no, she's clearly insane. She tried to kill you. And at this point, Elaine again takes her hand, thrusts like just through the air, and knocks Jericho on her ass. And she's about to do it again. She's trying to kill her. Let's just put it out on the plate right there so everyone can see it. She wants her dead. She a crazy bitch right now. But Bond grabs her hand before she can give the final blow, and she's like, Elaine, don't be jealous. I'm the only man for you, and you're the only girl for me. And like, the weirdest part is he's saying this in this very like slow, deep, sexual way. And I'm like, did you just not see your lover almost try and kill your like one of your best friends? Did you like did that not even affect you? Instead, you're just gonna like try and seduce this girl right here. Anyways, Elaine turns around and is like, what the hell did you just say? Are you trying to defend this non-fairy, non-11-year-old body-looking girl over there? You don't want none of that. And Elaine proceeds to beat the living shit out of Ban. She like cuts him from his abdomen up to his neck. Blood gushes everywhere, and then she pretty much just proceeds to cut him 9 ways to Sunday. And while this is happening, blood is gushing everywhere. And then Ban says like out loud, like, "Oh, this is clearly not Elaine. This is Elaine being controlled by someone else." And that's where Jericho interjects again. She's like, "Elaine, what the hell are you doing? You love this man." And she's like, "Shut up! I know he's mine." And she like, thrusts, tries to hit Jericho again. Jericho dodges, runs up, tackles Elaine, and has her pinned on the ground. Elaine's on the ground laying like this. Jericho has her arms pinned, and I swore they were arguing for like a minute and a half straight. But I was like, they're gonna make out. Like I know it makes no sense, but just the sexual tension I was feeling, they're gonna make out. That's what's gonna happen. Sadly, that didn't happen. That would have been better than the Ban and Elaine fanfiction I was reading. No, I'm kidding. What? Nothing. Anyway, so Jericho's there is crying. She's literally like, you know what? I get it. You love Ban, but I love Ban too. And I would never let myself be controlled. All right, and I would never try and kill the man I loved. So how in the world can you say you love him when you just tried and ripped out his heart and like make him bleed to death? And this was like very emotional. And then Elaine just burst out crying, like, you know, you're right. You really think that I want to be doing this? I'm weak. I'm sorry. I don't ever want to hurt Ban. I love him to death. I would do anything for him. So do you really think that I came here looking for his blood, looking to kill him? No, I want to make him happy. And if anything that makes me more pissed is at myself because I'm too weak to control my emotions because someone else is controlling her right now. And she's so torn that she was weak enough to be used by someone else to hurt the person she loves. And Elaine's there pinned down by Jericho and just weeping, saying, "I know, I get it, I'm weak." And then she just like throws Jericho off, like using her wind powers, and she's just in full rage mode. And like dirt is twirling everywhere because she's pissed, and she's using, I guess, her fairy powers. And she's like, "Someone, please stop me. I'm about to kill the man I love. Someone, anyone, please stop me." And at this point, Ban comes up and just like puts her in a big old hug and is like, "It's cool. I know you're never going to hurt me. I love you. You're the one for me. There's nothing you could ever do that could hurt me physically or emotionally or spiritually. I got you." And he's like, "I promise you I'm going to take you on that adventure that I promised you we would go on." It was a beautiful, heart-warming moment. Ban was hugging her, and Elaine's crying like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to see my filthy side, my sinful side. I'm so gross. I'm so sorry." And Ban just says so sexually in this great voice, I love Ban. He's a great character. So anyways, back to the story. Ban just says like, "It's okay. I'm one of the 7 deadly sins, one of the worst people on the planet, one of the most hated people on the planet. I can carry your sin. I can carry my sin as long as I get you." I almost cried at that part, but then of course it's ruined because as soon as he says that, you have like a second of nice peace, just them hugging, and then all of a sudden, boom! A giant, devilish, demon-looking shadow just appears behind him with a big old like scythe, like he's pretty much the reincarnation of Satan himself. And he's standing there like one eye glowing, smiling like, "Bitch, you about to get wrecked." And as soon as he lands, Jericho kind of like faints. Like Ban's holding her, she like ah, and he's like, "Elaine, what's wrong?" And then Jericho just like is like, "Fuck, look behind you." And guess who's behind them? Frickin' Galland. He's definitely my favorite 10 Commandment as of right now, and they're about to get their shit wrecked from Galland. At least that's what he thinks. And this is where the fight begins. As soon as I saw frickin' Galland behind him, I was like, let's go. We're gonna get my frickin' favorite sin and my favorite commandment, and they're gonna frickin' no, they're not gonna bang. They're gonna fight, guys. They're gonna fight. And I honestly didn't even really notice all that much that Molescula was behind them, like behind Galland, and she was there. And I knew nothing about this sin. After I watched the episode, I looked a little more into her. I won't spoil too much, but when I watched the episode, I knew she was commander, and that's like all I really knew about her. But anyway, she talks first. Like Galland just kind of standing there, like, "Okay, I'm ready to fight, but fine, if you want to talk, Molescula, like, just go ahead." And she addresses Ban, and she's like, "This technique I use is kind of forbidden." It reminded me of like the reanimation jutsu from Naruto, because that was a forbidden jutsu. Anyways, back to the point of the story. Molescula kind of just explains how she can revive the dead. If they have lingering regrets on the earth, she can bring them back, and she amplifies those regrets and those feelings, and they turn into like just a really hateful person that only wants one thing. And obviously with Elaine, her like regret was leaving Bond behind, her greatest love. And so her regret of leaving behind her lover was just amplified to a just an insane amount that it was just turned into jealousy, and she was willing to kill anyone, even her lover, to get what she wanted. So that's what was going on with Elaine. But then she explained how the person she brings back from the dead, once they come to grips with like their kind of their own sin they have to deal with. Like for Elaine, she had to be like, okay, you know what? I love Bond. I died though. He's still living. I will see him again one day, but not like this. So once they come to grips with what they're struggling with, their life force then fades away and they die again. So that's why Elaine fainted. And throughout the episode, she's like petering back and forth, like, oh, save Bond. And then she's kind of out. And then she's like, oh no, don't let him die. So she's not really a main player in the episode anymore. She can't help Bond fight them. But so that's what was going on with Elaine. Pretty much this, one of the commanders, Meluscula, used her power to raise her from the dead, amplified her regret, and then that regret drove her to try and kill the people she loved. But then she was set free from it, so now she's kind of like petering from going back between life and death, basically, and she's gonna go back to being dead. Because that would be kind of like a cheap shot, like all of a sudden, Elaine's back, she's cursed, she's not cursed, you get her, Bond, congratulations. And I'm gonna just lose my shit when I see a beautiful, actual, this like emotional-filled reunion between the two. Nothing that like witchcraft that brought her back from the dead. Okay, I was about to go on another tangent, but we're gonna save that for another day. But I cannot wait to see them actually meet in the real world for real, and me knowing like this is it. He's actually gonna get to stay with her and love her and like marry her. Okay, woo. Still kind of went there. But anyways, so after Meluscula explained what he did to Elaine, Bond was rightfully pissed. You know, his lover was pretty much brought back from the dead, thrown in his face, and now it's gonna be ripped away from him again. And he stands up and is like, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it, I'm gonna kill you both. And then he uses a power that is just, it blew my mind that they would do this combination. And you know how they're saying how Infinity Wars is just the most ballsy combination of heroes and people from across the universe? I say no. You know what? You want to know what the most ballsy combination of TV show and movie that is out there? 7 Deadly Sins and Star Wars. Because you know what? Bond's a freaking Jedi. Or maybe not. You know what? I was never really sure how his snatch kind of worked. So Bond reaches out his hand and he rips out his sacred weapon from him like a block away, and he grabs it, and it's his 4-section staff, like the staff that's like connected by chains. And I was really excited when I saw this because ever since they introduced snatch being Bond's kind of like thing he can do, they elaborated it a little bit when he was fighting against Meliodas. But ever since then, he didn't use it very much, and I really want to see him use it more. And I get the whole he can take other people's energy, and that's the biggest thing about it. He can steal people's energy. But I also want to know, can he just like, does he have like the Force? Can he just like snatch anything? Is there a distance? Is it like, oh, I can see that thing 5 blocks away? Mine. If that was me, I'd be stealing cotton candy all day long from little children. That sounded weird. Yeah, usually it's like me giving out candy to little children. Now I'm stealing it from them. Anyways, so yeah, he got his sacred weapon, and he's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And Galland was the first one to approach him and like, okay, little peasant, you want to take us on? Let's do this. And Galland, you know him, he's always looking for a fight. He's like, man, I've heard things about you. You're one of the 7 deadly sins. You're pretty powerful. Let's brawl it out. And here we go. My favorite commandment and my favorite sin. Let's get into this right now. Frickin'. Well, I was about to just spasm out about my favorite anime fight, but instead of that, I'm going to work. I was there earlier, and I'm not complaining about how much I work. I'm just going back in because assistant manager have to help with a bunch of shit. But anyways, that's okay because I'm gonna get right back to you guys because I'm gonna make use of my own quirk, unlike Gay Turtleman's quirk. I actually have a quirk that's usable, teleportation. So stay right there, guys. I gotta go work. Well, actually, I gotta go change. So. All right, sweet. I'm all changed for work. Okay, guys, be back in a minute. I gotta go make some shakes or something. Oh man, I really need to. Oh gosh, I really need to work on my teleportation skills. Oh gosh, okay. Just a sec. All right, okay. I'm all ready to go. I just zoned back in. I'm all good. I know I'm not wearing my tux, ladies. I'm sorry, but I kept my fancy shoes on and my fancy socks, so you're welcome. Let's get back into this, okay? Freaking Galland and Ban are about to go at each other. Like I said, favorite commandment, favorite sin. We're ready. You heard enough. Let's do it. So, it's no surprise, Galland is an arrogant prick, and he just goes balls flying in. He rips his head off, he rips Bond's head off, and freaking cuts him in half, and what do you think Bond does? He regenerates, shrugs it off, and he's playing it really cool. I mean, what did you guys, if you had, like, regenerative power, and someone's trying to kill you, wouldn't you let them, like, think you're dead, and then, like, get up, that was a good one, you dirtied my clothes, you smugger. Anyways, so... that's exactly what Bond does. He laughs it off. He's like, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to kill me. And Galland's like, oh, so you are a worthy opponent. You are not just a peasant. Well, you know what? Because I misjudged you and thought you were so weak, I'll give you one free shot. And Bond just kind of laughs like, okay, you said I would get one free shot, so I'm going to hold you to your word, but you're going to regret it. And he just, like, charges up in a badass way, his Hunter Festival, and just releases it, and he, like, sucks in all the energy, using Snatch, I guess. You see a bunch of birds fall down to the ground, kind of a pity, just killed some birds, because I guess he absorbed all of their life force, I would say, all their energy. And then he also zapped a bunch of energy from Galland, and he kind of just, like, fell to the ground. He was like, oh, what is this sorcery? Why do I feel all of a sudden like I can't even access half my power? And Bond's just sitting there like, I'm about to beat the shit out of you. And he's just like, his muscles are bulging, his six-pack is just huge, and he's like, here we go. And he takes his sacred weapon, he beats the crap out of him for a while. And while all this is going on, Melascula is kind of standing there, and she's kind of doing narrative like, oh, I see you can also use magic, and your special ability is to steal life force and strength from other people, their stamina. So, you know, that way Galland's like, oh, okay, I see what happened. Now I see why I'm weaker and why he's so strong. Melascula kind of understands and sees how strong Bond is and how much of a threat she is. So unlike Galland, she doesn't really mess around. She goes straight into it and uses her power, Cocoon of Darkness, and she pretty much wraps the area. It wasn't like a gigantic area. It's like the size of a decent-sized room, and it's just pitch black, and Bond is in it, and I'm assuming it's very hard to break out of that. And Bond's just like, what is this? And Melascula's like, oh, you passed my commandment, because, you know, each of the commandments have a specific power. Galland is like the truth, and if someone lies to them, they turn to stone. And hers is faith. So basically, if the thing that you have the most faith in, and you lose that faith, whether you have the most faith in a religion or a loved one, or the most faith in yourself, but if you lose faith in that specific thing, your eyes get burnt out. And she goes on saying, like, I brought back Elaine because all your faith laid in her for her love for you. Even though she came back and tried to kill you, your faith never wavered for a second. You were never like, does she really love me? Or is our future going to be okay together? Like, she was like, your faith never wavered at all. You truly have a heart of a warrior, so my power isn't going to work on you, is basically what it boiled down to. Melascula kind of understood the situation she was in. She knew she wasn't a physical brawler. She couldn't go against Bond with physicality. And she knew that her own commandment wouldn't work very well. So she's pretty much like, okay, you know, you can heal your body as many times as you want. But what are you going to do when your body's a husk? And then she's like, what are you going to do if you don't have a soul? And Bond just kind of like, what the hell? And then before he can really like respond to that, she has her hand against his back, and his soul just starts to come out. And then he understands like, oh shit, she's stealing my soul. And then his soul comes out, and at that point she's like, I'm going to eat it. But Galland, being the dick he is, just jumps up, grabs the soul like, hey, thanks for the help, Melascula, chows it down. And a very interesting thing I thought about this was two things. One, Bond, when his soul came out, it's like a little blue thing. It reminded me a lot of the dead people in Dragon Ball Z when they're like on that like a really long road in heaven waiting to be judged. They're just like little cloud wisp blue things. It kind of reminded me of that, which is interesting. I wonder if that's a trope in anime. Besides the point. So when his soul came out, Bond was still narrating his thoughts. Like, oh crap, what am I going to do? How am I going to fight? And they weren't focusing on his head. They were focusing on the little soul thing. So apparently you can still think and everything if your soul's out of your body. The second thing that I thought was interesting is apparently Melascula and Galland have a sort of like, I don't want to say friendship or like romantic relationship. I don't want to say either of those. But they're just like closer together than maybe they are to any of the other commandments. Because Melascula is obviously like, okay, you know what, screw you, Galland, you failed, you jumped the gun because you're too eager to fight. I'm taking his soul, I'm eating it, I'm getting this energy. And Galland jumps up and steals it. And Malaska's like, really? After all this time, you're still going to steal the soul? And he's like, well, this is what I get for protecting you all the time. Which is like, I don't think Malaskula needs you to protect her. So, like, is there a backstory to that going on? Do they know each other from before? Like, they were part of the commandments? I don't know. They don't really get too much more. You just get, like, 1 or 2 lines back and forth. Anyways, Galland takes a soul, eats it. He lands. He's like, oh, this is very good. And then Jericho and Elaine are, like, weeping. I think they, like, they're, like, going over to Bond's body. It's just standing there. It's like a husk. It's like a puppet doll. And then all of a sudden, you just see Galland and Malaskula's heart just get ripped out and then torn, like, they shrink. They float in the air, then poof, they explode. And it's like, oh, what was that? Was that Jericho with her master swordsman? No, it was not. It was Bond. After that, Bond, like, runs, grabs Elaine, grabs Jericho. He gets the hell out. He understood. It's like, I ripped their hearts out. It's not good enough. He learned his lesson ever since the first demon, and it kind of made him immortal and killed his lover. But anyways, so he didn't make the mistake this time. He got his 2 girlfriends. He was out. And I was really surprised. So I'm like, okay, so I guess big demons have 2 hearts. So the commandments have multiple hearts, or they don't even need hearts to function because they're basically demons too. They are demons. And as Bond is running away with Jericho and Elaine, he's like going through this like canyon, and they're like, "Oh my word, how did you survive? You don't have a soul. Can you survive without a soul?" And Bond's like, "No. What happened was when Malaskula pushed my soul out, I was heading up. Like he was heading up towards the sky. Was he going towards heaven? Would Bond make it to heaven? Questions for another day. Anyways, his dad's soul actually goes past him. So his soul's going up to heaven, I guess, and his dad's soul like swoops in and is like, "Hey, you know what? I failed you when you were a child. I ran away. The least I can do is save you right here." And then Bond said something interesting. He's like, "No, Dad, if you get eaten right here, that's it. You're not going to see your son." Which means, I guess, if the soul's compromised, it can't go to heaven or hell, which makes sense. So that truly does mean Bond's soul is probably going somewhere to be judged. So what happened was his dad is like, okay, their spirits are passing. His dad was like, "Bond, get out of here. This is the least I can do for you. I'm going to take it." He goes in. Galland catches him, eats his dad's soul. Bond goes back into his own body. Bond reawakens while the commandments guards are down, rips out their hearts, shreds them, runs away. And the only question I had with that, I'm totally fine with everything, but why was his dad's soul still around? You know, it seems like Bond was going straight up to heaven or somewhere. Do souls just float around? Is it kind of like how Malaskula said she could only bring back people that have regrets on Earth? Maybe if you die and you have a regret, your soul is then therefore contained in the atmosphere and it cannot go be judged and sent to hell or heaven, which is pretty interesting. So maybe Bond's dad had so much guilt about Bond and how he like ended up, or how he like abandoned him, or how he kind of abandoned his own son to begin with, that his soul could not go anywhere to be judged, so he's stuck there. So maybe Bond's dad was kind of like, you know what, I can't even go to be judged. I'm just gonna like roam the earth pointless as a soul, so I might as well do something good and save my own son. That's how I kind of saw it, but who knows? Who knows? And that's kind of where we end with Bond. The only other thing that happens is you get a little cool moment from Jericho because Bond falls over. Granted, he has his soul back, but he took a lot of damage and everything, so he's like, I can't go on, man. I just got my literal soul ripped out and then shoved back in my body. You guys go on. Jericho, take Elaine, get out of here. And then Elaine's like, no, I'm going to die anyways, because she's come to peace with her sin, so she's going to die again. She's like, take Bond. And Bond's like, I can't die, so what's the point? And Jericho's like, oh my gosh, you guys are so selfish. Shut up. Puts them both on her back, starts running. We cut away. That's all we see that's the end of what we know from them. I'm assuming we're going to get a chase in the next episode. But as far as we know, Jericho's hauling ass with Elaine and Bond on her back, with Malaskula and Galland running close behind. I mean, I don't know, maybe they're slowed down because their hearts are ripped out. Okay, so after everything goes down between Bond and the commandments, we cut over to a random town. We don't get the name of the town. And to thoroughly explain this, I need to do a little background information on a little guild of people. Because when I first watched it, I was like, I vaguely know who you people are and who you're connected to, but not fully. So maybe it was just me. But this revolves around Dreyfus and Frodden, those two, and then a group of knights. And the group of knights' name is Claudius of the Azar Sky. And basically, they consist of 6 different knights, and their leader is Denzel Lanos. And before the whole crap went down at the very end of season 1, when Dreyfus and Hendrix were still viewed as the 2 Grand Knights and not, demons, they sent this squadron, let's call them, of 6 people to go guard the border of Leonis. Okay, so far with me? And we've actually already met 3 of them. The very first episode of season 2, when the king is giving the Sins their rewards, they came up and were like, actually, before we respect you and say that you actually helped save the kingdom, we need to test your strength. Basically, Meliodas just blocks, and while he's blocking, also breaks one of their fingers, one of the group of the 6, and they're like, yep, okay, you're pretty strong, bye. So already met 3 of them, and now we met another 2. So let's get into this scene. It's only 5 minutes long, 4 minutes. So we have Dreyfus and Fraudin walking around. And the reason I'm not just referring to him as Fraudrin right now is because there is still Dreyfus in there. It's not just like Fraudrin possessed him and that was it. Dreyfus no longer exists. He's just, all you see is his appearance and that is it. And the reason I say this is because very interesting dialogue. And honestly, the most important part of probably these 4 minutes is you see Dreyfus walking through this village and he says something. And the person that talks is first Fraudrin. He says, oh, look, this will be a bunch of easy souls we can eat and gain back our power. This will be easy pickings. And then Fraudrin replies to someone as if someone had said something, but you don't hear anyone say something. And he's like, what do you mean we can't prey on these innocent people? So clearly Dreyfus is still like an internal voice inside of Fraudrin and is still affecting him. We don't know if he swayed Fraudrin from going to be consuming those people. We don't know if Dreyfus has that much sway because right after that happens, he kind of gets attacked. But the other part of this is it kind of brings up an interesting question. Can Fraudrin not get rid of Dreyfus, or does he choose to keep him around? And whatever that answer is, does Dreyfus hold any power or decision making over his own body? So can he kind of control what's going to happen or not? Is he just there along for the ride to put his input in? How does it work? Also, I'm kind of have this feeling. I know a little bit about the future. I don't know a lot, but I have this feeling that Dreyfus is going to affect Fraudrin in his decisions. I don't think Dreyfus will win Fraudrin over to the good side. Like, come on over here and fight against the commandments with us for the Sins. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I think Fraudrin's personality is going to change a little bit because he's been around a good-hearted human for so long. I mean, we think Dreyfus is an awful human being, but we just found out, right back in, 10 years ago or so, when Hendrix and him first got possessed, they were both really good, morally correct knights. And ever since then, they've been possessed by Fraudrin. So, you can't really say, oh, Dreyfus is an awful person, because he's literally been possessed by a demon for so many years. So, Dreyfus is a good and morally correct person. So that just begs the question, what will Dreyfus's role be later on in the anime? Because the creators didn't just let him linger around just for kicks and giggles. So now that that's out of the way, Dreyfus is confronted by one of these legion of the 6 that I talked about, one of the Palladius of the Azar Sky, one of those 6 people, and the one he's confronted by is Deldry, I believe is her name. And her gimmick is, if she kisses you or touches you affectionately, you fall under a love spell. We've seen it in anime a million times before, and it seems like the more she has physical contact with you, the more you fall under her spell. Because at first she just kisses Dreyfus on the cheek, and he follows what she says pretty well. But then he kind of defies what she said because he was going to attack her. So she's like, great, you're not under my spell enough. So she pretty much just grabs him by the head and makes out with him. And then from there on out, he's completely under her command. And this is where we get introduced to the 5th knight that is in the Palladius of the Azar Sky. And he is Arden. And he's an archer. Excuse me. And his power is, if any of his arrows, I think he said, if any of just my weapons, because he also, he had shurikens, from Naruto. But he's if any of my weapons pierce your skin, you can no longer use magical abilities for X amount of time. Clearly, it's not just oh, I cut you, no more magical abilities ever, because that would be just straight up OP. He would kill everyone. No, so he shoots some arrows at Dreyfus. Dreyfus gets hit in the back. He tries to use some magical abilities against Ardon. Doesn't work. Ardon's like, ha ha ha, you can't because I pierced you and that's my magical ability. And Dreyfus just laughs. And he's like, you really think I need magic to take you on? Now, granted, he's still under the love spell, but as long as Deladry doesn't tell him not to attack him or gives him a commandment, he can do whatever he wants. So he physically jumps up and goes to hit him down. And it probably would have taken out Ardon if it wasn't for another member of Pleiadius of the Azure Sky, who we actually already met in the first episode where I talked about earlier, where the three went to talk to Meliodas. And this member is Wallio. And Wallio is a really short, stout man who reminds me of Wario, the name, the aesthetic. He's like a midget who's just like, I can bench 500 pounds. And right as Dreyfus is about to land that blow against Ardon, Wallio jumps up, blocks it with a sword, and then he just knocks out Dreyfus. Which I was a little bummed out because Dreyfus was, not only Dreyfus is a holy knight, which is alone in its own right amazing, he also has a freaking demon of the commandments inside of him. And he's taken out by 3 people of these they're just 3 really good knights. And I get he was under the spell and then he couldn't use his magic and it just kind of overtook him, but still. I was a little bummed out that Dreyfus was taken down so easily. But that's how the episode ends. Wallio comes in, just bitch knocks him into the sky. He's knocked out, and they're like, come on, let's take him. Let's get on out of here. So that was episode 13 of season 2. But then, at the very end, my favorite part of the anime came up. I get literally 4 seconds of next time on Seven Deadly Sins, and you frickin' see Escanar. And he's just he's going into his muscle man form, and his shirt's ripping, and you see his tattoo on the back, he's holding his axe, and you're like, next episode, someone's dying. I don't even care who's dying, as long as someone dies. So anyways, that's the review. Those are my thoughts. I love the episode. It was a great episode. Highlight was probably when Ban used his Hunter Festival and just beat the crap out of Galliad. So that was pretty great. Anyways, love you all. Subscribe. I should be having the next episode. There we go. The next episode of My Hero Academia out in a day or two because it airs. By the time this is posted, it will probably have already aired. Or in a day or so. But anyways, that will be coming out soon. So, love you all. You guys have a great weekend. See you later. Where the fuck is Turtle Man?